Good morning, everybody. This is your boy D Mac, man. This is another episode of Yeah, I Said It. So don't forget to come in and subscribe and view the content. Don't necessarily have to like it because I really don't want all of that activity because I'm not trying to get caught up in the algorithm. That's a whole nother story. But let me jump into this real quick. So, do any of you know who the Black Hammer Party is? The Black Hammer Party. Well, if you're not familiar with the Black Hammer Party, this is a militia, a black militia out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. That's where they're based from. And they've been called a cult also. And these young men they've basically got national headlines because apparently this past Tuesday they kidnapped two gentlemen and took them into a facility that they had procured, and they violated these men. I'm trying to find the right word, but they violated these dudes. And so this brought about a police investigation into it, and one of the members of the Black Hammer Party ended up losing their lives in this investigation and this interaction with the police. And so now you have the Black Hammer Party who's been pushed out here in the spotlight. So you'll probably be hearing more about them as this story unfolds. I just picked up on it this morning. And so I wanted to get into it a little bit because this reinforces something that me and a couple of guys was talking about a couple of months ago about how the climate of this country and the way that people are stoking the fires of the racial tensions is going to create these black militias who feel the necessity of protecting and securing our people against these racist attacks against black and brown people in the United States. So the first group that you saw whenever this stuff all started was the NFAC, the Not Effing Around crew, who was headed by Brother Almighty J. And they were quickly shut down after they gave a great show of force on a couple of different occasions. Then the Alphabet Boys got mixed up in that, and they took Almighty J in, and they whatever they did and said, that brother been quiet ever since. Been very, very quiet ever since. And so, but still, that's not going to stop other people from feeling the need to create these security teams. But this group in particular, where they aired at, was they were motivated and fueled by anger. And anytime that your motivation is anger and revenge, then you're going to end up going down a pretty dark road. And that's what happened to the Black Hammer Party. So the leader of the Black Hammer Party's name is Augustus Romaine. He's locked up right now in Fayetteville, along with his accomplice, Xavier Russian, who's also alleged to be part of the kidnapping of the two gentlemen that they assaulted. And so this is basically what they said. They had a 6-hour standoff on Tuesday because they had reports of two men being kidnapped. They were aggravated assault and sodomy. So that means that they did some torturous things to these people. And I'm willing to bet my whole entire paycheck that these were some European gentlemen that they kidnapped. And so their whole motto and their whole creed is to fight against the tyranny and the oppression under the government in this country. And that falls right into what me and these fellows was talking about a few months ago, because one of my biggest points in the whole conversation was all of this racial tension is going to cause you to see more black militias, more black gun clubs, more black men coming together to organize in these groups, so that we'll have somebody ready for a quick response whenever we know that the law enforcement doesn't have our security as top priority for them, because they're a main part of who we need security from. And so we do not expect them to give us any security in our communities. And so we must take it upon ourselves, like they did back in the day, to create these groups to protect our own communities and neighborhoods. But the key to this is they have to be responsible adults, responsible, mature adults. Because when you start to mix in those people who are fueled by revenge and anger, then this is going to be the end result. The Black Hammer Party, this so-called black militia accused of being a cult, they thought they were doing the right thing, and they thought they were justified, and they had this whole righteous indignation built up to push them out to go and do what they did. And they went out and they found well, I ain't gonna say the first people that they saw, I guess some people that they felt like needed to be dealt with, and they kidnapped these men. Now, this reminds me of a movie that came out a long time ago, back in the early 2000s. It was called Mantan. Uh, it was starring Xavier Glover, the world-renowned tap dancer. Damon Wayans was in it. I believe Jada Pinkett Smith was in it. Who else? Who else was in it? Most Def was in it. And the basis of this movie was, there was a guy who he had some talent, and he was discovered in Hollywood, and they used his talents and they used him to push all of the stereotypes about black people. And he was really good at it, and the show blew up, and they just kept on finding more and more deeply disturbing stereotypes about our people for him to mock us with on this show. And the show gained so much popularity that it went worldwide. And so this guy now, he's stuck in a position that he's being used to mock the black community. And on one hand, he loves the money and the notoriety and all of that, but he's uncomfortable with what type of reputation he's starting to gain by being the Uncle Tom, so to speak. And then ultimately, there's this group which is headed by Most Def, who sees this as a part of the destruction of the black community and a danger to the black power movement. And they kidnap him, and they ended up doing some bad things to him on live TV to make a example out of Mantan. And so this reminds me of that movie in a sense. And I don't know if that's where this concept originated with Mr. Augustus Romaine, but it's very reminiscent of the actions that was taken in that movie. And so that's why I brought it up. But for these guys to have a 6-hour standoff with the police, and there's video out on YouTube of Mr. Xavier Russian being arrested outside of their home. He was trying to make a phone call or whatever. And there was also a third member of the Black Hammer Party who was found shot to death inside of the house after the altercation with the police and Mr. Russian. And his name was Amonte Ammons. Then police alleged that whenever they came to the house, they found him with a single gunshot wound to the head, and that he had killed himself, which very well could be true, because whenever the reality of your consequences of your actions come down on you, and you start to see that there's no hope, and you're about to do a whole lot of time, probably the rest of your life in prison, some people will take their life like that. They will get so worked up and so irrational that that's their only solution to the situation that they're in at the time. And so that very well could be true. So I'll just leave that alone. But Mr. Amante Ammons was found shot inside of the home whenever the police went in to get Mr. Augustus Romaine and Mr. Xavier Russian. And this was Tuesday in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So North Carolina, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be other groups popping up, not only in North Carolina. You have South Carolina, you have Georgia, you have Florida. That whole string of states right there has a rich history of slavery and rebellion. And so I hope we don't see more, but based on the climate of the United States right now and all of the racial tension that is being drummed up and all of the hateful rhetoric that's being pushed throughout every ethnic group. It's not white against black. This is the thing. People are saying that always trying to make it a white and black thing. It's not a white and black thing. It's a classism rate. It's a classism thing. And as long as you have the class system, then racism is going to be woven into the fabric of that. And there's no way that you can get around that. The class system can be used to keep people out for race. It can be used to keep people out for religion. It could be used to keep people out for whatever reason they desire. And that's the whole purpose of it. So that you can't pinpoint one thing. Oh, well, it was racism. No, it wasn't racism because they have some black people up on that level. No, it's classism. So you have to understand what you're categorizing things as. And don't miscategorize something because people will be really quick to punch holes in your logic. And so we're seeing the end results. Well, not the end results, because this is just the beginning, I got a feeling, of these black militias that are going to be popping up because they feel a need to protect themselves and other black communities from the tyrannical government that they perceive our government to be right now. It's all goes hand in hand. And so I just wanted to familiarize everybody with the Black Hammer Party out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. You'll probably hear more about this story because it is a little different than your average black militia story. And we don't really hear many of those nowadays. So this may pick up some gravity. And I don't know how many members there are in this militia group. But like I said, I'm going to do some digging and see what I come up with. So I'm just keeping y'all up on what's taking place, man. And anything that I hear that I feel like haven't been really put out there yet, I'm going to put it on my platform as well so you get that extra exposure. You never know. So, yeah, that's all I really had to say, man. Y'all stay aware. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your head on a swivel because people are out here looking to attack black and brown people on a regular basis, and there are also others who are looking to retaliate against those people who would attack black and brown people. You have Asian people who are being attacked. You have every ethnicity, every religious group being attacked within this country. So no one group has exclusive rights to oppression in the United States. Everyone in the United States is oppressed to some degree, some more than others, and sometimes it's based on their poor decisions more so than the tyranny of the government. But this is your boy D-Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.